What if everything you thought you knew about China's military was only the surface? What if behind the speeches, parades, and headline stories, there was a deeper world of hidden technology, silent power, ancient strategy, and modern ambition that most people have never seen or even heard of? What if China's rise as a global military force was not a sudden jump, but a long, carefully calculated journey built on discipline, secrecy, patience, and thousands of years of war philosophy? And what if understanding this military could reveal the future of world power? Today we dive deep into what you never knew about China's military, a force shaped by history, driven by technology, and expanding faster than almost any other military on Earth. China's military, officially called the People's Liberation Army, or the PLA, is not just an army. It is a giant organization that includes land forces, navy forces, air forces, rocket forces, cyber forces, space forces, and even secret intelligence units, all working together like one massive machine. Most people see the big military parades on TV, the rows of soldiers marching in perfect timing, the tanks rolling through Beijing, and the fighter jets flying overhead in beautiful formations. But what they don't know is that the real strength of China's military is not only in what it shows publicly, but in what it builds quietly behind closed doors, in places few outsiders have ever seen. China has been studying war for thousands of years. Books like The Art of War by Sun Tzu were written over 2,500 years ago, and China still uses these ideas today. One of the most important lessons from Sun Tzu is this: the greatest victory is the one achieved without fighting. And whether you realize it or not, this idea shapes nearly everything China's military does. Instead of trying to match other countries in every area, China focuses on building smart strategies, controlling information, using technology, preparing defenses, and building influence. One of the first things you never knew about China's military is how fast it has grown. Decades ago, China was far behind the major world powers. Its weapons were old, its ships were slow, and its technology outdated. But China didn't stay behind for long. It invested billions into factories, research centers, universities, and military schools. It sent students overseas to learn from the best scientists. It partnered with foreign companies. It built entire cities focused on military engineering. And today, China builds more warships than any other country in the world. Its navy is now the largest by number of ships. It produces advanced drones, powerful missiles, next-generation fighter jets, and satellites that can watch almost any part of Earth. But the most surprising part is that many of China's strongest weapons were created not to attack first, but to stop enemies from attacking them. China's military strategy is built around one major idea: keep enemies far away. To do this, China has built some of the world's most powerful missile systems. These missiles are designed to hit aircraft carriers, bases, or ships that get too close. One of the most famous is nicknamed the Carrier Killer, a missile so fast and precise that in theory, it could hit a moving ship from thousands of kilometers away. This weapon alone changed how other countries think about war in the Pacific. But China's power doesn't stop there. Another thing you never knew is how important technology is to China's military growth. China is not only building tanks and jets, it is building the future of warfare. Artificial intelligence, quantum computers, hypersonic missiles, robotic weapons, and satellite networks. China is investing huge money into AI, and its goal is to make weapons that can react faster than any human, systems that can fly, aim, or analyze information in seconds. China is also working on hypersonic missiles, weapons that travel so fast they are nearly impossible to stop. When news leaked that China had tested a hypersonic missile that flew around the world, many experts said it was one of the most shocking military advances of the decade. And then there is space. Many people don't realize that China has one of the most active space programs on Earth. It has its own space station, its own astronauts, and satellites that cover huge areas of the planet. Space is now part of warfare, and China knows it. A nation with powerful satellites can track enemies, jam communications, guide missiles, and protect itself from attacks. China even showed it can destroy satellites in space, a move that alarmed many countries. But China's military isn't only about advanced weapons. One of the biggest things you never knew is how much China trains its soldiers mentally. The PLA teaches discipline, loyalty, teamwork, and endurance. Soldiers train in deserts, frozen mountains, dense forests, and high altitudes. They train underwater, in tunnels, in simulated cities, and in virtual battlefields using VR technology. China believes that a soldier must be strong not only physically but mentally, able to follow orders, adapt quickly, and stay calm, even in chaos. Another surprising thing is how much China focuses on cyber warfare. China has huge teams of hackers, programmers, and digital experts. These units don't wear uniforms or march in parades, but they are incredibly powerful. In modern war, hacking can shut down banks, power grids, airplanes, and communication systems. Cyber war doesn't need bombs. It needs only a computer. And China has invested heavily in this silent battlefield. But the biggest mystery of China's military is its secrecy. Many of China's bases are hidden deep underground. Some are built inside mountains. Some are sealed off from the public. Many of China's weapons are revealed only years after they are created. China rarely announces its true plans. It prefers to move quietly, build slowly, and reveal only when necessary. Another thing most people don't know is how much China studies other countries' militaries. It watches everything: how they fight, how they move, how they communicate, how they organize their forces. China learns from every war around the world, from the Middle East to Europe to Africa. It studies mistakes, successes, and weaknesses, then changes its strategies. China does not rush. It prepares. And part of this preparation is building influence. China's military is connected to its economy, its diplomacy, and its global relationships. It builds ports in Africa, railways in Asia, roads in South America, and bridges in Europe. These projects are not only economic, they also increase China's global reach. The world often sees China as a quiet power, expanding through trade instead of war. But behind this trade is a strong military ready to protect China's interests. The final thing you never knew about China's military is its long-term vision. China thinks in decades, not years. It has goals for 2035 and 2049, the 100-year anniversary of modern China. By then, China aims to have a fully modern, world-class military that can compete with any nation on Earth. And from what we see today, the advanced technology, the rapid shipbuilding, the disciplined soldiers, the powerful missile systems, the expanding influence, and the quiet confidence, China is moving closer to that goal every year. This is only the first half of the story, because China's military has even deeper layers, more hidden strategies, more unknown advancements, and more surprising facts that most people have never heard. As China's military rises, one of the most surprising secrets is how much of its strength comes from something the world rarely talks about: logistics. While many people focus on missiles, ships, or fighter jets, China has quietly built one of the most advanced supply networks on Earth. In simple words, This means China can move soldiers, fuel, weapons, and equipment across huge distances faster and more efficiently than almost any country. This matters because a strong military is not only about powerful weapons, it's about the ability to move those weapons anywhere, anytime. China has built high-speed rail lines that can transport troops straight to borders, giant cargo planes that carry tanks, and modern ports that support naval missions across the world. This logistical network gives China a huge advantage in any long-term conflict. Another thing you never knew is how China uses its geography to strengthen its military. China is huge, with deserts, mountains, forests, coastlines, and frozen regions. The PLA trains in all of these environments so its soldiers can fight anywhere. Many people do not realize that China trains some units at extremely high altitudes, in places where the air is thin and breathing is difficult. These conditions prepare soldiers for some of the toughest battlefields on Earth. China's military also invests in psychological training, teaching soldiers how to stay calm during fear, how to survive extreme weather, and how to handle long missions away from home. And then there is China's naval power, something the world pays attention to but still doesn't fully understand. Most people see China building new ships every year, but what they don't know is how fast the Navy has modernized. China now has aircraft carriers, stealth destroyers, amphibious assault ships, submarines, and Coast Guard vessels that look more like warships. China's Navy trains far from its own shores, traveling to the Indian Ocean, Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. This global reach is something China did not have in the past. Today, the PLA Navy is not only protecting China's borders, it is protecting China's trade routes, resources, and overseas projects. China imports huge amounts of oil and minerals from around the world, and it wants to make sure no country can easily cut off those supplies. Having a strong navy is part of that plan. But China's most surprising power is its rocket force. Most countries rely heavily on air forces, but China built something different: a missile-centered defense strategy. China has some of the world's largest missile brigades, equipped with short-range, medium-range, and long-range missiles. These missiles can reach air bases, ships, ports, and even distant targets if needed. China believes missiles are cheaper and harder to stop than jets. They can be launched quickly, from hidden bases, and from mobile platforms. Many of these missile units are hidden inside underground tunnels stretching for hundreds of kilometers. This underground Great Wall, as some analysts call it, makes China's missile forces extremely hard to track. This strategy means that even if China is attacked, it can still defend itself with powerful counterattacks. China's rocket force is one of the reasons many experts say that any conflict in Asia today would be far more dangerous than it was years ago. Another thing few people know is how China fights wars without firing. China uses a strategy called gray zone warfare. This includes cyber attacks, influence campaigns, misinformation, economic pressure, and strategic partnerships. Instead of tanks and bombs, China uses data, trade, and diplomacy to gain advantages. China studies how information flows through the world. It invests in global media, app companies, tech businesses, and online platforms. These tools help China shape public opinion, protect its image, and reduce foreign influence inside the country. China also invests heavily in islands and ports around the world. Many of these look like normal commercial projects, but they also have strategic value. A port can help China move ships quickly during emergencies. A railway can transport supplies. A communication tower can transmit signals. These projects blend economic development with long-term military strategy. One of the most surprising things is that China's military works closely with Chinese companies. Big technology firms help develop drones, satellites, AI systems, and cybersecurity tools. In Western countries, the military and private companies are separate. But in China, they often work together under national strategies. This cooperation speeds up China's development and allows it to upgrade its weapons faster than traditional military systems. China's Air Force is another area full of surprises. It was once behind the world's leading powers, but today it has stealth fighters, advanced drones, and new bombers designed for long-range missions. China's J-20 stealth fighter is one of the most modern jets in the world, designed to avoid radar and fly long distances. China is also developing drones that can work with fighter jets, acting like robotic assistants in the sky. These drones can scout dangerous areas, distract enemy jets, or carry weapons. This drone teaming strategy is believed to be the future of air combat, and China is moving rapidly in that direction. China's space power is even more impressive. It has satellites that watch Earth in high resolution, satellites that track ships, satellites for communication, and satellites for navigation. China's Beidou navigation system is like its own version of GPS. This means China does not rely on any foreign system in a conflict. It can guide missiles, ships, and aircraft without interference. China has also tested weapons that could attack satellites in space. While China says it only wants peace, this capability shows that China is preparing for every possibility. One of the most unknown parts of China's military is its intelligence network. China uses drones, satellites, spies, cyber tools, and electronic signals to gather information. It monitors borders, oceans, and airspace. It studies the movements of foreign ships and planes. China's intelligence agencies also track global events, monitor online conversations, and analyze foreign politics. China believes that information is power, and it invests heavily in gathering and protecting it. Another hidden part of China's military strength is its huge reserve force. In addition to active soldiers, China has millions of reservists and militia units. These groups can be activated during emergencies. They train regularly and support the main military forces. China also uses technology to keep track of its personnel. It has digital systems that track training, performance, and readiness. This allows China to mobilize its forces quickly and efficiently. But one of the biggest things you never knew is China's long-term patience. China does not rush into conflicts. It rarely fights wars. Instead, it builds slowly, quietly, and strategically. China believes that winning without fighting is the strongest victory. It uses diplomacy, trade, influence, and technology to achieve its goals. China also focuses on self-reliance. It builds its own tanks, missiles, jets, ships, and satellites. It trains its own engineers. It produces its own chips, engines, and weapons. This reduces China's dependence on foreign suppliers. Many countries rely on imports for key military parts. China tries to avoid this. China's military future is built on three major visions: modernization, smart warfare, and global reach. Modernization means updating old systems. Smart warfare means using AI, robots, and advanced computing. Global reach means having the ability to protect China's interests anywhere in the world. China's leaders believe the world is changing fast. New wars will be fought with data, drones, satellites, and networks, not just tanks and bombs. China wants to be ready for that world. Many people think China wants to dominate the world. But China's strategy is more complex. China wants to become powerful enough that no one can threaten it. It wants respect, stability, and influence. It wants to protect its borders, secure its trade, and ensure its rise continues. China's military is part of this vision. The more powerful it becomes, the more confident China becomes. And with every new ship, missile, drone, satellite, and strategy, China moves closer to becoming a global superpower. Whether the world likes it or not, China's military rise is real, rapid, and deeply strategic. And now you understand the hidden layers behind it. The discipline, the technology, the secrecy, the long-term planning, the global ambitions, the ancient strategies, and the modern upgrades. This is what you never knew about China's military. A force shaped by history, powered by technology, built with patience, and designed for a future where China stands strong on the world stage.